All right, guys, we're still on final assembly for the truck, and we're getting ready to put VIN tags on so we can get these out of the way. So this is what we're working on here. This is the door jamb VIN tag. You can see the holes right there for it. And here are our little rivet guys over here to put those in. So I just did some measuring on these two holes, lined them up on here, punched my holes in, and drill those holes out, and then beat those little rivets in, and should be ready to go. So we'll show you what it's like when it's done. All right, we got the tags all in. So here's the first one with the nice rivets in it. It's in the door, it's good to go. And then we also did the actual truck tag. So it's all in place and ready to go. Got those hammered through there, and they're just got little teeth on them. And as you can see, they just get pounded through the firewall itself. So we're moving on to other stuff now, which we got this stuff all set up for the welting to be put on. So that'll run along here like that. So that's probably about what we're gonna jump up to next. All right, made a little more headway on the truck, on the welting. So got the welting all put on. We left it long up here because we're not sure where we want it to stop. So until we get the hood all fitted, but got it all done down that side. Had to take the headlight buckets off so we had better access to those screws. But yeah, we're going to be wet sanding and buffing the hood pieces tomorrow to get that thing assembled, hopefully to start getting it test fit. And got this all finished up as well. Graydon helped me wet sand and buff some stuff today. So tailgate is done and ready to go on, as you can tell. And he got these two small pieces done right there. So yeah, that's where we're at right now. So we'll keep moving forward. And actually, wait a minute. Got the safety latches installed on the, for the suicide doors. This is something I did long before we started our channel. There's a knob that goes on here, and this rod right here flips out and actually goes through this hole right there to keep, just in case the doors would want to vibrate open. Those will not let the door open so you don't fall out or anything. I'll probably go more over those when we start getting all the door mechanism stuff working, and then I'll show more in depth of what those do and why we use them. We are getting started on wet sanding and buffing the hood. So as you can tell, he's done about this little portion up here. So he is starting with the wool pad and the cutting compound, which is right there. Which, if you are interested in any of these products, we've always used the 3M stuff. And this is the cutting compound, or what is known as the rubbing compound, which is your first stage. We also use a product called Medallion that we sometimes use before, depending on what we sand with. But anyway, yeah,
he did 2,000 on this.
And he wet sanded this in 2,000 because it laid down so slick, so we didn't have to go through a bunch of grits. So you can see kind of some hazy buffer marks, which that's what wool pads leave. So, and then a lot of times normally we do usually 4 stages of buffing, but we're kind of going a different route on this. But this is the Perfect-It machine polish, which you use with a foam pad, which he has right over here, waffle pad. So that's what he will do after this step, and it seems to be working pretty well for what we're doing with this truck, because this truck isn't going to be a crazy slicked out show truck. So anyway, he's doing his thing, so we'll let him do that. And over here, I am getting these inner fender bolts in with this inner fender seal, rubber seal. So that's kind of what I'm working on right now, and I'm going to get the other side done after this, and then hopefully come over and help him do a little bit on this if he's not already done. All right, we're making progress here after lunch. He's back on the other hood side. So he's buffing away there. That one's all done. And I got the tailgate all installed. So it's ready to rock. And then as of right now, where the exit is for the gas neck, I am actually going to put this rubber up and around that, just kind of trim it out, make it look a little cleaner. So we're going to get on that and get that done, get this trim to fit. And then hopefully we'll be assembling the top hoods, which is the ones he's buffing now, and get those all mocked up and put on the truck. Also, one thing I forgot to show that we finished up on the truck, I had shown this rubber that I was going to put around the bed area where the gas neck came out on the driver's side. So here's what we finished up. So got that rubber tucked in there nicely, and I also trimmed out some metal in there where this thing runs through so it comes out more centered, because it's just not exactly perfect because this hole was made before this truck was ever, the bed was ever even sat down in the chassis. So that's what that looks like. Got it tucked up in there, and then also protect it from any vibrations or anything like that. Okay, new day. We're installing this ignition switch on the dash of the truck. And let me thread this off and show you. So what I'm doing is I actually measured the ignition switch itself, and we got nice hole punches. So when this goes behind the dash and comes through, we'll be able to lock it with the outer locking ring here. So what I did is measure this hole from that hole and got the distance, as well as from this inner portion of the gauge cluster to that, and then did the same thing and measured it and took those dimensions and used that right there. And then we got these nice hole punches, and that's what we'll use here to get the size hole we need for the ignition switch, which is 1 inch. And also, whenever you ever do a hole, especially through a painted surface, you want your cutting edge on the front, and you want to go from the front to the back so it pulls the material in. If you would do it like this and come out, it would more than likely bust all the paint and primer that you have in there. So we're going to go ahead and use this thing and punch ourselves out a hole and get this ignition switch put in. So this is how this works here. You drill your hole to the size of the stud, and then you put a wrench on back here and one out here, and just tighten it, and this cutting piece will just slowly pinch together and cut your hole for you. So I'm gonna go get my wrenches and we'll be ready to make this hole. So it's in, we're good to go. Didn't chip any paint. And here's the tool after you're done with it. And this is the hole that it cut out. So yeah, there we go. Ignition's in and ready to go. All right guys, been assembling the hood sides with all the final pieces. Got them wet sanded and buffed yesterday. So we've got the corner rubbers on, latches, handles on both. Got the hood rods ready and the little rubber insulators that sit between here, kind of pop over the edge, and then we'll be ready to go ahead and start putting this thing on. All right guys, I know I showed the truck, but I don't think I ever really went over or filmed a clip after we got the hood all assembled. So figured I'd toss this in here since we've already got it fitted. So I'm kind of going back to show you what we did. Anyway, here's the hood all hinged up and propped. So it's pretty neat. If you look in here, you can see those clamps go around the radiator support bar, and then those hood props have a little rubber end and prop up underneath there. And pretty cool because it holds the hood up out of your way. That way you can work on the engine, not have it falling on your head or having to lay up over on the paint. So it's pretty cool. Just kind of wanted to show you guys what it looks like assembled and hinged up. So it's a pretty unique piece. I mean, that's how a lot of the hoods were at this time, but it was just really neat getting to do this. So basically there's a rod that runs through here that connects these two pieces. So you can kind of see the hinges up here. We basically cleaned those rods up real good so they didn't have any gunk and stuff on them. And we put the end in a drill and basically just pushed it all the way through. And then the last bit we tapped in with a brass punch and brass hammer. And that was the quickest and easiest way to get that together. So yeah, there it is. This thing's getting pretty close. Getting it up in the air right now to get some of the steering stuff taken care of. Got the drag link on it, but I got to get everything else set back up. to where it works, because right now the steering box is a little off. So anyway, we got the hood on it. And he's taping this stuff all off so when he buffs it and everything and wet sands it, it's not slinging crap inside the grill shell or anything. So that's why it's all taped up. But yeah, looks more like a complete truck. And you can kind of see the paint difference between buffed and something that's wet sanded as well. So kind of just doing the middle section, then he'll just kind of blend that into this stuff here. And then we'll probably show you a little bit of that when we're done. But there's kind of a good side shot of it. So after he's done buffing that grill shell, we'll probably show you a little bit of what that looks like after it's been buffed. All right, guys, Graydon got a little bit more wet sanding and buffing done for me, what I just showed you that he was starting on. He did the grill shell, so that's all ready to go. And he did this headlight bucket. And he is going to start on this next week, and we'll be starting on everything else. And I'll probably pick up filming for the next video with doing the steering, which I said I was going to start on, but I'm not going to get to now. So that's going to end it for this one. Probably kind of a shorter video, I think, but pick up next week with a lot more content on finishing this thing up, and hopefully we can get a little bit more filming and a little bit more in-depth detail on what we're doing to finalize this thing and get it ready for the road.